What's good, superstars? Back with another veve Omi video. You got Superstar Joe. You got Superstar Rob in the building. How's it going, Rob?
Pretty good, you?
Oh, man. Waiting for some resolution still on this whole BitForex thing. But, guys, if you're new here, do not forget, become a superstar. Smash the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification so you know whenever we post about hot topics like this one. You can also become a superstar VIP, $2.99 a month. Hit the join button underneath the video. You get one of these stars next to your name. Longer you hold on, more entries you get into the giveaways at the end of the month. Coming up here in a couple days. Leap year this year, so I mean we got to wait a little bit longer, but February is going to be a fun one. We're going to give away a star in the universe at the end of the month as well. If you follow us next, follow us on Instagram, join our Discord. There's been this topic that we talked about it yesterday. I did a video yesterday, and it's just been constant communication in our Discord from all of the Omi homies and the veve fam chatting it up in our veve chat. So I'd love to see what you guys think about it. So hop over to Discord and talk about it with the rest of the fam. And I mean, there's more to than just the comments on YouTube. I mean, we got the whole Discord there to continue the conversation. Rob, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Big news with the BitForex problems. I mean, we didn't have any OMI in BitForex, so we were not affected directly by this. We feel for everybody. I wasn't here for the video yesterday. We feel for everybody who was affected by this. We can understand that people had quite a large amount of money in the exchange. It was an old rule. I remember back in 2017, all the warnings about exchanges, right? You want to keep your money off the exchange, but at the same time, we have to understand that people with OMI typically are people with veve backgrounds, and they become conditioned to understand that self-custody is maybe not the best thing. They've been conditioned to believe that it's better to use a custodian. But there is definitely pros and cons to both, and clearly this is a big con. Sometimes the risk, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I had mine on BitForex for I think about a year until we started to dabble into other projects, and we learned about MetaMask, and we learned about Coinbase Wallet, and we learned about all of these ways that you can actually hold on to your own keys. I said this yesterday's video. That was a big hurdle. It was something that it took a lot, and not that it's difficult, it's just something that people aren't familiar with. So whenever there's something that people aren't familiar with, it's something that they kind of put off maybe, or they don't use. But because we joined McFarlane and we joined all these other self-custody projects, it was something that we had to learn. And then once we learned it, I thought, you know what, let me pull my OMI into my wallet here, and then I have some that I put onto veve just because I wanted it to be in the veve ecosystem in case anything were to come from that. So that's how I did it. But I know that there's a lot of people who just were waiting because why not, right? Until there was actually utility for the OMI token. Now, we know that a lot of people are concerned now. What are we going to do here? I mean, we don't know if BitForex is going to come back to life, if you're going to get your bags back. We hope that that does happen. But if it doesn't, how does OMI survive this? How does OMI move on from this? And Rob and I think, and you guys are gonna love it. I know Slider's gonna love this one. Utility is going to carry OMI if it is going to move up. OMI utility program was always what we used to call it. OMI utility program, OUP. We need to see some utility, and some utility that actually has meaningful substance. Rob, there are already some use cases for OMI, some would say, but why don't we talk about a couple of them and why we don't feel that the utility is quite there yet?
Yeah, I think we've done so many videos on this, and guys, you got to remember, like, when it comes to OMI, I mean, let's just quickly take a step back with BitForex. Let's just assume worst case scenario, BitForex actually fully rugs. So you have 20 billion, I think, tokens of OMI that are locked in there. I think it's unlikely that if they actually rug, they're going to stay locked in there. I think that if this is a real rug, eventually those OMI tokens will somehow end up into the circulating supply, which would crush the valuation of OMI. On the other side, best case scenario, BitForex comes back to life, everybody gets their wallets back, and it's business as usual. But there will be a damaging effect that comes from this, of concerns of keeping your money in the app. It might be turned off from cryptocurrency completely. People might just sell the OMI to safe USD, cash out, and be done with that, and just focus maybe on the veve app. I don't know. So let's just start there. So we think after this there will be negative effects to the OMI token, no matter what happens. There's going to be some kind of negative impact on the valuation going forward. Now, how do you save the OMI bags? There's only one way, as Joe said, utility. So right now, what utility exists? Well, you can stake your OMI tokens out of your self-custody wallet into the custodian of veve. and they'll hold it on, and they will give you MCP points, but they're also going to issue you bronze tickets. So you'll get bronze tickets because you have staked OMI in the app. It never was originally planned that way, but that's how they've done things now. The problem is what we're finding is that bronze tickets will probably have the same issues as MCP, where if you use them, you might not get the secret rare. You might just still get a common. So now you're burning your bronze tickets that you got, you have to stake for so long to get. No one really knows the ratio yet of how many bronze tickets you're going to get each time, every 6 months, let's say, and you're going to lose them just to get a common. So I think you're still not going to have these amazing benefits with it that you normally would, or how we first envisioned with bronze tickets. Another thing too is that even if you do make money on the flip, it may not be worth that much more than what you started with. So that's the first one, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is we don't have bronze tickets yet. We've seen that it will come in the first quarter, but we also had quarterly deadlines for the Veveverse a year ago, and we still haven't seen that, right? So, I mean, timelines and Veve don't mesh. Timelines and OMI don't mesh. Until we see it, we got to act like it doesn't exist until it does exist. And then when it does exist, maybe we'll have a different opinion. But we do know one thing about the bronze tickets is that there will not be burning OMI from circulating supply. So a little bit different than we initially thought when that whole graphic was showing about the OUP. Second thing you mentioned in your little talk there is that if you stake, you can get MCP points, right? And we have seen this play out a little bit now. There's been a few drops where you can use MCP points to go for about 40% of that drop. One of the more recent ones was the Blade drop, which was about 1,000 additions, so about 400 or whatever, rounding it, were available for MCP. And we see Blade is trading for about $65 right now, which is about a $14-15 premium on the box price. Okay, so if it costs you like 20,000, I don't know what the number was on this one, but if it costs you 15 to 20,000 MCP points to secure this drop, how much money did it cost you to get those 15 to 20,000 MCP points? Like you're making $15 premium. How long did you have to hold on to 3 rare comics to get you 20,000 points? You know what I'm saying here? Or did you spend more than that to get to those points? Like to me, it's not making sense. It doesn't balance yet. The optimization is not there. It's a brand new product and people aren't used to it yet. So the efficiency is way out the window. If you're spending 20,000 points to make $15, I think you're out to lunch. So that's the second thing. MCP points right now, the value of MCP points has not shown itself. And to that point, the utility of staking OMI doesn't really make sense yet. And on top of that, none of this burns any OMI.
Just to answer your question, Joe, I need close to me personally, I need like 2.5 months, 3 months to accumulate 20,000 MCP points. I'm a diamond 1. So, like
the second highest tier, and it takes you that long.
I'm the second highest tier, and it does take me that long. So it's a really, really long time to be able to burn those, and it's just opportunity loss. I did a video on this. When you're burning these MCP points, there's an opportunity loss. So that incentive to stake OMI, that utility that's here right now, because we have to judge it based on what's here right now because things constantly change. That utility, I don't believe, is enough to really lock up enough of the supply to create a shortage in the demand.
One more thing on the MCP is that if you are going to successfully go for that, or say that there's a drop that's worth more than 15 gems, people are going to say, well, there's going to be drops that are grails. You're going to get all these comics that people really want that are going to go for triple the floor price, whatever it is, or triple the box price. Those ones are going to be won by the whales who have 10 million OMI or MCP points, and they're not worried about it, right? There's people who are up there. It's going to go to the top 5%. So I think it's a little bit more difficult when it comes to competing for that. So again, MCP, no real value for me yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to go back now, way back to the old spreadsheet. Actually, I have the screenshot. This no longer applies. All right, guys. So, I mean, this was originally the plan for the different ways that OMI will be burnt to help reduce the circulating supply, to create scarcity in the OMI token. And by creating scarcity, you would have increased valuations. So there was all these different mechanisms starting from the top left. There was the idea of fast tracking tiers. Like I'm so confused of what's going to happen going forward because they haven't really officially released any new roadmap on what they're going to do with OMI. So none of this applies anymore, but they originally had fast tracking tiers. I don't even know if they're going to still do tiers. Right now, there's just one tier, right? But there was this idea that there's like 5 tiers. You can get gold tickets that will let you get land. Remember land in the VeveVerse and all these things. You could rent things. Like there was all these grand plans, and it all got wiped away. And I know that, you know, it's easy to say, well, yeah, we're gonna get all this, but the way they change their mind and the way they do things differently, I don't know if I believe that it's going to be in the way that we initially envisioned it. So fast tracking isn't happening. Early unstaking isn't happening. There's no early unstaking penalties that are going to be burning OMI. Bronze tickets, you're not burning OMI anymore with these. You're just staking, getting them. So that doesn't apply. OUP peer-to-peer. So this is the one thing that maybe has real possibilities that may save your OMI bags, is that if you have OMI in the app and you can use it to buy NFTs, and then that receiver receives gems, not OMI, you could take the equivalent value of gems and give it to them. That OMI can then be burnt because everything squares out. Everybody gets paid, and you can actually burn that OMI every single time someone buys NFTs. So OMI to NFT, where the receiver receives gems and not OMI, that you can burn the OMI. The economics work out, and that's one way you can really start getting rid of OMI in the circulating supply. And they had all these different ideas here. They had OMI to NFT, OMI to ticket, OMI to accessories. Remember accessories? Haven't seen those. Those have been around for a long time, but I don't know if they've made any progress on the accessory part of the app. So like if they could come up maybe at this point with OMI to NFT, which they used to have, so it shouldn't be that hard to bring it back. I think that maybe they can get some burns going, and that could really help OMI in the near term and actually incentivize people to buy OMI to use it in the app. And we want to make it really easy, allow people in the app to buy it directly so they don't have to go to these exchanges. They just do it in the app, they buy it, they make their purchase, and they just help burn OMI that way.
Yeah, I think OMI to gem is basically that's what we need to see. We need to see some form of utility where you can use the OMI and then some gems enter and OMI leaves. And then that starts to shrink it becomes deflationary like it was always expected to be. I mean, top left there, no burns. Middle left there, no burns. Bottom left there is where we're hoping that this comes to fruition. I mean, a lot of people expecting it, but like you said, OMI to NFT not good enough. We need to see OMI to NFT where OMI being used converts to gems and gets taken out into the reserve or burnt eventually, right? So I think that we need to see some more utility that actually matters when it comes to the OMI token. Otherwise, I mean, MCP is just absolutely crushing OUP, whereas it was not supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be synergetic, and we were supposed to see not too many drastic changes from this roadmap, from what we were told. So I hope that we at least stick to that bottom left corner there, because that is the one thing that will save your OMI bags if that does come to fruition, or should save your OMI bags. We don't know what's going to happen here moving forward with anything. Obviously, none of this financial advice, but we think that might be the only thing that could save your OMI bags in terms of deflating the circulating supply and making per token available maybe a little bit more valuable.
Well, the only thing, Joe, is overall utility, but that's the most realistic utility in the short term. We think that they're going to be able, if they were going to pull off some kind of utility, like to add on to what they have now, we think that the most realistic one would be the OMI NFT, and that would probably have the biggest impact for the work that they have to put in to get it rolled out. And I gotta get one thing off my chest, Joe. This has been something that bothered me for a long time. Don't freaking say that you're collecting OMI, okay? Don't say I'm an OMI collector. Like, get real here. Like, are you a Bitcoin collector? Are you an Ethereum collector? No, you're actually an investor. You're an investor at heart. So if you're buying OMI, when we talk about OMI, okay, maybe VV collectibles, you can get away with that and say collecting, even though I know 99% of you are actually flippers and investors, but whatever. We'll just say you guys are collectors. But when it comes to OMI, you're not a collector. You're an investor in OMI. It's a cryptocurrency. And if it truly is going to be a utility token, which someone could argue that now, well, you put it in the app, it gets you MCP points. We got something, right? We got something to call a utility token now. At the end of the day, people who purchase these and were part of the ICO and all those things, they did it for investment purposes. So, I mean, it's hard to talk about OMI without also talking about valuation. And I think that OMI NFT would be a great way for the team at ecomi to help reward, at this point, their long-term investors, because they're not going to do buybacks, which in many ways, I actually don't disagree with that, because it's basically a fake way to kind of pump it, right? Like, buybacks are not really something that are going to be sustainable in terms of deflationary means, you'd be better off doing something like this, where people actually using the app will burn their OMI because they're going to buy things with OMI. They're going to get gems. The seller will get gems back, and you start actually having real utility for burning OMI. And then if they can make any of these other ones live, even better. But the problem is there's no roadmap anymore. I have no answer for anybody. If someone says to me, what is the clear roadmap for OMI? I'm going off old information. We've been told this no longer applies, period. You cannot use this chart anymore. It's obsolete.
So off the website, yeah.
Off the website, and it's not just off the website. You are to not use this, period. It is no longer valid. So we don't know if any of these burns will ever come to fruition, but we know the team is very serious about OMI NFT, and we think that would be definitely the best utility in the near term that's actually achievable for them to roll out. So you guys,
and if you want to get out of the cyclical nature, I mean, you look at an OMI chart, you can tell. I mean, there's areas, I'm sure you're looking for that now, but there's areas where they pump it up and then they pump it down and they pump it, just look at it. There you go. That's the perfect thing. So I mean, it's actually pretty scary to be caught in one of those wild swings. It'll be obviously a lot nicer to see a little bit more of a steady climb or consolidation or something like that. But I mean, it's almost manipulated to a point that it looks like. So
wasn't there another excuse in August? What happened in August where it dumped? Wasn't there something else that right before some kind of bad news, there was a huge run up? And then some news came out and it dumped it again. I swear this
happens every 5 months. I don't know what to tell you, but until we have some substantial utility of some kind of use case that people actually care about, that's bringing in new users, that gets eyeballs. I mean, it's going to be same thing, if not worse now, because we got BitForex on the fritz here. So yeah, that's all we got to say about that. And hopefully we start to see some of that OUP stuff come back to light.
Yeah, OUP is the key thing. And again, we talked about this many times in our videos. It just seems when there's positive sentiment, it runs up. It doesn't take much. Once there's negative sentiment, it runs down because there's no base utility to keep those valuations stable. So that's the reason why you keep seeing the cyclic nature of OMI. But again, for all you who are affected by this, we wish you the best. We hope BitForex comes alive. You guys all get your wallets back. And then at that point, you're going to have to make some serious decisions. And if you're going to keep your OMI, definitely going to get that OMI out of that exchange. You got to bring it over to a personal wallet, even a MetaMask wallet or something like that. Just not on the exchange would be better. The cold wallet's the ultimate, but one of those hot wallets like MetaMask, at least that is better than being in an exchange. So you guys can let us know below what you guys think. What is the thing that you think will save your OMI bags? Let us know in the comments below. If you haven't already, don't forget, become a superstar, smash subscribe button, enjoy this for our fam, hit the bell notification button to get every single video, every single day. Also, do superstar VIPs is $200 a month to the star beside your name after spreadsheet. Guys, thank you so much. Take care. See you next one.
Love you.